Welcome to ESPNcricinfo Match Day Runorder, powered by Techno Mobile. So the Sunrisers Hyderabad have made it 3 out of 4 home victories in the opening set of games of IPL 2018. Some T20 matches in the IPL are exciting and enthralling. This was not one of them. 125 for 9.
Exactly knew where that was going.
125 for 9 is all Ajinkya Rahane's Rajasthan Royals managed on their return to the IPL after they were choked by Siddharth Kaul and Shakib Al Hasan. And in response, it was pretty easy from there. Shikhar Dhawan 77 not out after being dropped early on in the innings. And Hyderabad cruised to a 9-wicket win. It's a cracking start for James Faulkner and Rajasthan Royals. James, I thought we've seen such good games, and then you came along and we saw that. What the hell happened?
What happened was I had 7 coffees while I watched that. It wasn't the most exciting game of T20 I've ever seen, but Shiki got some runs, so did Kane as well. And
in all seriousness, this was Rajasthan's return. We keep forgetting that. We spoke so much of Chennai's return because of Gaurav and Srinath, and we didn't spend a minute in the pre-show talking about how this is the return of Rajasthan Royals.
Yes.
Now, can this sort of...
And like someone mentioned on Twitter, Ronak, that it's their first defeat in 2 years.
Yes.
They're unbeaten.
No friend, yeah, of course. No, but I mean, in all seriousness, this kind of defeat, do we just put it aside saying it's only the first game, or can it have an impact on a new squad with a new last-minute captain?
I think it's going to take some time for that group to get used to each other. As we just mentioned, then they're back in the competition now. And also, they've mentioned you've got to win 8 games to make finals. So there's a lot of water to go under the bridge before you can start writing teams off this early.
Deep, this game decided at halftime? Pretty much?
Oh yeah, pretty much. But you know, these games, I mean, you've got to look at it as an aberration and move on. You really can't find neither positives or negatives. I mean,
you're so one-sided.
It's so one-sided.
What about the Sunrisers bowling made it so one-sided?
For Sunrisers, I think it's huge. It's huge in terms of, because the biggest question mark was David Warner not being there. What happens then? So obviously, start was brilliant. You couldn't have asked for a better start than that. Williamson got runs, Shikhar Dhawan got runs, the bowlers did exceedingly well, the fielding looked good, the whole team environment or the body language, which is a very important aspect, especially in this format, I believe, was everything in place. So I think, it was a great start for SR.
If I had to just ask you 1 or 2 major things that Rajasthan need to correct, can we look at the batting order? Can we look at personnel? What would you recommend after one game? Looking at the order that Butler came in later and where they put Rahane, what would you suggest?
Well, after one game, I think the big thing, the message I'll be saying to the group is not to panic. It's so early. So I wouldn't be changing too many things. It's just about what you're going to do at the top and backing the players in as well. You don't want players to be feeling like they're treading on eggshells at the start of a competition. Knowing that there's so many games of cricket left.
I think the thing that stands out, if there is anything that is going out from this game, is how well-rounded this Hyderabad attack is. That is the thing that I think will be the big takeaway for every team that would have watched in this competition. Stanlake, Sid Kaul as well, who's kind of a fringe player in a sense. Obviously, everyone knew about Rashid Khan, but to have, we keep talking about how you need to have options in the bowling. Perhaps this is one team that doesn't really need that 6th bowling option, given the quality on the evidence again of just the first game.
But this has been SRH's template for last 4-5 years now. If you look at SRH, they've always been bowling heavy. So it was always their batting which kind of let them down more often than not. So this again is not different from the other SRH
Yes,
teams.
but it looked exceptionally good in this game. Perhaps there was a little bit of carry as well, which we saw from both Sid Kaul as well as Stanley, some deliveries that really troubled the Rajasthan. The other thing was, Ronak, Rajasthan were extremely flat today, and almost even while trying to defend it, you felt the dropped catch by Rahane in the beginning, some little sort of misfield.
How often do you see that? Rahane sitter slip? Alexis, what do we got? Do we have some angry Rajasthan
possibly
fans?
not so much. It's probably from our most avid viewer, Prince Damu, who was asking if we're noticing his comments. He's already started his own hashtag Ask Deep and Faulkner. So he wants to know any advice then for teams defending a total, because clearly it's not been going their way.
I mean, what I'd suggest is, you need to communicate a lot when you're batting first. When you're batting first, you really need to quickly figure out, especially the openers, what's your pass score. And then if you found out your pass score, let's say it's a 160, then try and push it to 170, 75. So you try and push that 10-15 runs extra. That's how you do it, to be honest, and make sure you have enough bowling options. Because I mean, James would agree. I think end of the day we talk too much about batsmen in this format, but bottom line, I think bowlers are who actually win you tournaments. Batsmen will win you games, but bowlers will win you tournaments.
Okay, let me get to what Gaurav touched upon earlier. They actually started with just 5 bowlers, Sunrisers. I mean, they had only 5 bowling options. We didn't quite discuss that pre-show, Gaurav. But if we think of the options that they do have, they all bowled well today. But is that something that could be found out going forward?
Not really. They have Deepak Huda and Yusuf Matan as well. Both bowl off spin.
Williamson.
Both bowl off spinners. And Shakib was excellent today. Actually, he bowled the tough overs, and he found it. The team found it hard to hit him. So I think they have a variety. You know, more than the kind of bowlers, they have variety. So they can always go to a leg spinner. They can go to a left arm spinner. They can go to an off spinner or swing bowler. So it's a good attack, and I think that was their strength. Like Deep said, that's always been their strength. And if their batting can come good at various junctures in difficult wickets like Wankhede, for example, this team, their batting order in Wankhede might be slightly hard.
The other thing, Gaurav, and I'm sure Deep and Jimmy have a thought on this, is how good Hyderabad were in the field throughout this game. Darcy shot run out right at the top of the game, and then the catches that Rashid Khan picked up in the outfield, 2 catches in the outfield. So they basically pounced on every opportunity that they got.
Yeah, definitely. And I think every single of the 11 players that walk away from that game will walk away with confidence because they've contributed to a win to start the tournament. They've knocked the first question on the head, which was the opening partnership, with obviously not having Warner there, but they've won a game very easy to start their campaign.
To spend a little more time on Billy Stanley, who kept Chris Jordan out, who's played more IPL cricket than him and is a specialist death bowler, at least when England look at him. It's promising for Sunrisers to have Stanley bowl as well as he has.
Yeah, definitely. I was quite impressed with his control as well. He's just getting better and better.
And quick.
And very good pace as well, so it's exciting.
I mean, now, if you look at usual IPL sides, out of 11, you would have at least 2 domestic Indian batsmen, right, somewhere. And then somebody, and even international players, I mean, if somebody's bowling at 150 clicks, that's not a common thing in international cricket now either. So 150 with that extra bounce, I mean, that's quite a handful.
Okay, Prashant Kshatriya says he's awestruck by ESPNcricinfo's celebrity cricket lineup. So, thank you very much, Gaurav. And Mixes and myself. And the 2 of you. But he has kind words to say to Gaurav Kalra and me also, but you can find those.
We always say
I'm very,
to you.
yes, I'm humble. C.R. Shanto Shakib was excellent today. We've discussed that. Anil Nayak asking Deep and Faulkner, should Royals start with Unatkat and Loftful? They started with Dhaval. He could have easily got an inroad, but
Dhaval, I mean, his strength is swing bowling, right? He swings the ball both ways. So I think it's only fair that he takes a new ball.
Okay, what else do we have? Nevin Clinton, thoughts on the rather subpar umpiring this year in the IPL, Gaurav?
Yeah, it's been pretty poor.
Even in spite of DRS, you look like you're dying to go, but after Gaurav,
No, it's been pretty poor, and some very obvious routes were not given on the field.
Yeah.
I think they're just too safe nowadays.
Shall we spend a moment and talk about how the umpires could help send us home a little earlier?
Right?
With just
absolutely.
DRS and anyway made it later.
That one at the end of the game there was Shikadala. Everyone can clearly see pitch outside leg. There's a run out, 2 run outs of 2 metres out.
And then a no ball was given that clearly wasn't a no ball.
Yeah.
So they're even going on with that. James hasn't slept in 40 hours now with this insecure. And Deep, anyone who's played first class cricket for 10 plus years in India has something against the umpires.
Used to it. Yeah, I mean, you've got to get used to it. I mean, that's part of the game.
Alright, what else do we have? Lots of praise for Shakib Al Hasan. That's natural. Keep sending your questions and comments in. Let me see what else you've got. And if you have to pick and choose otherwise, if you look at the second innings, Shikhar Dhawan target was comfortable. With the fact that he's gone at 140, little questions in the absence of David Warner and Saha and Dhawan at the top. Shall we?
Yeah, I think that's a great
that?
move. I think that's a great move because Saha, we know he can open the innings. He's got 100 opening the innings in the final, so he can do that. It was important to see how someone like Shikhar Dhawan approaches this tournament now that Warner is not around. So yeah, I mean, obviously him going in this game at 140, that just tells you what we can expect of him. What role is he going to play this year?
Okay,
and also importantly, they got runs from Kane Williamson, who was sometimes not even going to make the 11 if Warner was going to be around. So for him to get in at number 3, although he didn't really get a very big strike rate, but he didn't need to in this game and got time in the middle, which you normally don't say.
No, I think you kind of get an idea how they would be planning in the future as well. Someone like Williamson would do what Shikhar was doing the last season for SRH, kind of hold this innings together and everyone kind of revolves around him.
But you like Saha at the top, and that's not just today's move. You want him to stay there.
Not because he's from Bengal or anything.
Yeah.
I'm not even making that connection. I only do that for Chennai.
I just wanted to add on to Deep saying, if you actually look at a team, Williamson, Rashid and Shakib pick themselves. So I think based on the conditions, they might switch between Stanlake and Hales. If they want somebody at the top and they're okay to play Sandeep or something. But I think one point we need to speak about is the Rajasthan batting order. I just feel that they have too many openers, and I was also looking at some of the numbers about how they play, how they construct their innings. If you look at the power play strike rates of the Indian batsmen, they're good, but they're not the best. And when you go to middle overs also, they're not the best. So if you look at the numbers, you have Samson at 110 and 124, Tripathi is 157 and 122.
Okay.
So as the innings progresses, he gets slower, but they sent him in a middle order.
Tripathi would obviously be the evidence of one season.
Yeah. And Rahane has been 120, 126. So this is across 15 overs. So if you look at 15 overs, these three are not the ideal players for me.
Gaurav, the only counter I would have, and I'm sure Jimmy and Deep have a view on this, is that Darcy Short was unfortunately run out in this game. He is probably the enforcer, isn't he, Jimmy, at the top of the order? That's the clear role that they see for him and for someone like Ajinkya to bat through the innings.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the only spot he can really bat. And we were talking before, it's a lot easier to go from the middle order to the top of the order. Yeah. It's a hell of a lot harder to go from the top and bat in the middle, especially in the conditions over here, as a foreigner playing against spin and quality spin.
Could there be a little more flexibility if Short falls in the first over, send Butler up, which is not something that they did, because then you've got Rahane and Samson, and they both sort of play a similar way, and that's the point Gaurav's trying to make.
I'm also trying to, Deep, I'm just trying to say that Tripathi, who's done so well at the top of the order, I think Short and Tripathi could open, and Rahane could be the guy who's playing the floating role with Samson at number 3. So if maybe they lose early wickets, Rahane can come.
Then there's also a big question mark whether Rahane is effective outside the top 2, Deep.
I think that's the way to go about. I don't see. Honestly, I don't see Darcy Short and Joss Butler playing together. Like I said,
would it be such a bad thing if it works for Lynn and Narayan? Why wouldn't it work for these two when they know you've got more?
Right, but now so we've got Joss Butler, Darcy Short, Tripathi, Ajinkya Rahane, Samson, all top order top 3 batsmen. So you've got 5 of them. All 5 of them are basically top 3 batsmen.
Yes, Rahane is the only one who's captain though, so he decides where he bats.
Yes. Right, exactly. So maybe he bats at 3. I would still pick. So pick either Joss Butler or Darcy Short along with Tripathi.
Okay.
Get Henrik Larsson at 5.
Oh, okay, so that's interesting.
Just wanted to raise the other point, which is why appointing a captain in T20s is so vital and so important.
Absolutely.
A lot of teams don't get this still. They go by reputation, they go by perceived value. But when you actually look at captaincy, you cannot afford to swap and change in the middle of the middle of the tournament. Yes, Rahane is a reputed Indian batsman, but not in the T20 format. So it's very important they identify who their captain is so that they.
So are you trying to? I'm trying to understand. You're saying Rahane should not have been.
Maybe they should have thought about it because
who are the options? I'm trying to think of who picks themselves. Would you have made Ben Stokes captain with all the uncertainty around him?
Maybe someone who's available for 14 games at his position and who's able to do that job.
But I think that's significantly short of options. Where do you look? Would Joss Butler make?
Maybe Butler or Stokes. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe James might have an opinion about that.
According to me, I think we're being a little too harsh on Ajinkya. I think he's done really well in terms of in IPL, but obviously when he's opened and there were situations like that. So I think it's just the first game. I think we just need to kind of look for another couple of games to kind of start really judging them, so to say.
And also, like Alexis pointed out earlier, Jofra Archer comes in and becomes available. So once he comes in, Rajasthan will have to change the dynamic of the team.
I'm definitely excited to see him play. I know James, I'm sure, well, I think right here about him.
Jofra Archer, interesting when he comes in. I know it's a conversation for the next game. Yeah. But then looking at how today has gone, don't change too much because it's one game, or would someone like Jofra Archer, because he can be a force in the middle order, as well be an option for you?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to come into the equation. I'd like to see him come straight in and especially with his raw pace.
Yeah,
It's
but
exciting.
you know what James touched upon initially. It's a difficult call because you don't want to send the wrong signals to the team as well. That you lose one game, you don't perform in one game, and you're out. Because in this format, see, the success rate is lower as compared to say a 50-over game or a test match. So you've got to give that freedom.
And like we were talking inside, Deep, when Rajasthan lost their first game in 2008, they went on to become champions.
I love these Twitter gems you give me.
This wasn't
This
even
was your
on
own
Twitter,
bird.
yeah. And I didn't even tweet it.
You made the Twitter gem. I'm not even saying so. Yeah, this game is not tweet worthy according to you. You were awfully silent today. Very well. Let's talk about the other team. For all you know, Rajasthan will win the next game by 9 wickets, and here we'll all look like fools. But let's talk about Shikhar Dhawan more in detail because his 77 not out also makes him our Tata next on super striker. Right, so it was a big innings for Shikhar Dhawan, given that he would have to almost change the role that he's played for Sunrisers in the absence of David Warner for the past couple of years, after the past couple of years. But 77 of 57, striking at 135, he's coming off a really good season, Shikhar Dhawan. Even when he doesn't find form internationally, somehow in the IPL he always starts solidly.
Yeah, because last couple of years his role was a little different. With Warner around, he was more like striking at 110, 115, but made sure that he got those runs and played deep, especially when Warner got out early, which was very rare actually. But this year, obviously, his role's going to be different. His role's going to be different in terms of, and this was a good indication of what I think is his role going to be like. With Williamson around, he will do what Warner did, and maybe Williamson will kind of be the sheet anchor role. That
You've bowled to Shikhar Dhawan before, James. Just trying to figure out what's it like bowling to someone like Dhawan. He always seems to give you a chance early on. At the same time, he can be dangerous. How do you bowl to a man like Dhawan, especially if he's going to play the enforcer role?
Yeah, when he's playing aggressively, he's very hard to stop. He accesses the ball completely different to a lot of other left-handers as well.
What do you mean by that when you say
he's just his wrist? He's got very good wrist. He's got a good pick-up shot over deep square leg. He's good square of the wicket, full stop. So and he does use his crease as well. He can walk the step down at you and playing. So he's very dangerous and hard to stop when he gets going.
And I think the only perceived weakness is again swing bowling early on, like we discussed overall, and that's what Kulkarni did. Just that the chance was missed. So maybe.
And that was a sitter. The one that Ajinkya Rahane dropped was an absolute sitter.
Who's the fielding coach? Any idea? It's got nothing to do with that because what a fielding coach does.
Ajinkya Rahane could be fielding coach of many teams himself, but also Deep, in the first bit of that innings, he didn't look very assured at all. There were lots of top edges, there was an inside edge as well. It was only towards the latter half, and then he looked exhausted towards the end. He was lying down completely tired. So it's a very good innings, but perhaps not the perfect T20 innings.
Obviously not, because listen, for me, I think with Shikhar is the day if I see him hitting a cover drive, I know it's his day. Then his setup is right. He has a little setup, a little shuffle. At times he's a little late with that shuffle. So the day he's hitting cover drives, I know it's his day. His feet is moving well, everything is fine. So obviously he wasn't hitting through covers that often today. So, but you know what? I mean, with Shikhar, you never know what you're gonna get. He's like a box of chocolates.
Very well. Comment coming in from Devidas Pai on Twitter: is Dhawan going to take the role of what Warner did? Dominating up front and staying till the end around him so that others can bat around him. Okay, so I think that wraps up the conversation on Shikhar Dhawan. We're almost out of time here on our show. Someone who's on our ESPNcricinfo Facebook page has put in a comment too and asked, has James been presented with his debut cap?
Oh my God.
We didn't get any. Is there anything that we can substitute as a cap?
Yeah,
He's got his shirt, but what I will do is
shirt.
I'll just give him
Thank you.
maybe this, so he can be the supreme fielding mentor one day of one
Oh,
of
he's
the
still playing. Come on, he's still playing.
Still, give me.
He's
Give
still
me
playing.
a little bit of
Still
slack.
playing.
He could be player come mentor. We've got plenty of those. Irfan Pathan has just joined a state team as coach come player. Shane Warne has been successful as coach and player. So that's what I was obviously trying to illustrate. Because you would get paid more as coach and player. Okay, decent enough save. James, thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed your debut. Is it all right?
Yep, very good.
Can you work harder on a better match for us tomorrow and see what you can do?
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, it takes some rest.
That was good. My 7th one was better than the 6th one.
He needs to sleep now, get the clock right. But thank you, Jimmy Faulkner. We'll see you again tomorrow, as will we see you, Deep Dasgupta. Pleasure. God of Sundararaman, thank you. And thank you, God of Kalra.
Thank you, Rana Kapoor.
That's it. I like it when we're on the same side. Alexis, anything more before we sign off? Chennai's Kolkata tomorrow.
Yeah.
Your boy Dwayne Bravo, you're going to text him
I'll
something?
be back. No, I don't want to jinx it. Because we like some superstar innings, don't we?
Bravo versus Russell tomorrow. Very
I know. I think Russell's due a good innings, though.
All
He
right.
bowled well in the last one. We'd like
So
to see
you're
some of his
tilting a
bats.
little towards Russell, is it?
Yeah, as my fellow Jamaican, and we want to see him do good.
Oh,
We
okay,
want to see him do good. It's been a while.
That's 4 IPL titles right there, right? Chennai and Kolkata.
Again, one more gem. Put it there.
Let's
Gaurav,
end
what
this.
does he
You
not
should be
know?
charging for all this. Right. Sarif Ghani watching from Malaysia. I hope you also watched the badminton finals of the Commonwealth Games. But
Oh,
let's
come
not
on,
be
don't
mean.
rub it in. Don't
No,
rub it in.
no,
Come on.
it's a
No.
wonderful
Pretty
challenge.
early in the morning.
What's that?
It's 2 a.m. or something.
So what, people stay up for us. Gaurav, why are you so surprised? Anyway, that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us again tomorrow, half an hour before the start of the game. We'll be live on Facebook, YouTube, as well as ESPNcricinfo.com. This was ESPNcricinfo Match Day Runorder, powered by Techno Mobile.